Raising awareness on the most pressing environmental issues of our time is important for change and growth. This results in creating an innovative working environment for productivity and growth. Ghana Climate Innovative Center, GCIC, addresses climate change through business interventions and adapted operations of SMEs, including women-led SMEs.
My name is Freda Obeng-Ampofo, and I tend to call myself the chief mixer at Kaeme because I do like mixing the great scents that you've come to love. Kaeme really came about because I wanted a homegrown Ghanaian brand that really dealt in quality, good quality product, but also good packaging, but also something that was kind of worthy of being gifted. The other thing too was I had traveled so much, I'd seen shea butter here and there, but I didn't really see anyone giving credit back to Ghana, and I knew Ghana had a lot of shea butter. So I wanted to create something that was homegrown, that is Ghanaian, and really take it to the world and still credit Ghana for it. The name is Kaeme, and in the Ghanaian Tree language, it's remember me. Whenever you bought Kaeme and used Kaeme product, I wanted you to remember the brand.
And we are an institute of Shesi University. Currently, the work of the GCIC is being funded by Global Affairs Canada, and we're very grateful to them for supporting our work over the 4-year period 2021 to 2025.
What drives us really is the fact that we know that we are contributing to something greater, to the extent that we are helping save the environment for future generations, to the extent that we are helping solve challenges that has to do with our very survival, because we now have climate change disrupting areas that hitherto was used for the cultivation of fruit, that it is destroying areas that hitherto was being inhabited by human beings, and that it is destroying the forest, which remain a critical resource for the Ghanaian people and for the people of the world. And so knowing on a daily basis that we are supporting enterprises who are mitigating and adapting to climate change through the solutions that they proffer really is what really drives us on a daily basis to be able to do the work that we do here at the Ghana Climate Innovation Center.
So there are 3 things. The first one is to look at climate change as an opportunity, not only as a challenge, as an opportunity for a more sustainable and equitable growth. Because at the end of the day, climate action, as identified in the report, is our actions to foster better development.
So this is what really drives me, how we can have a country, how we can have a people that are not depleting environmental resources, which are actually economic resources, but we're working with it to grow and develop our economy. We're working with it to create green jobs. We're working with it to plan a healthier future, because environmental issues are also health issues, right? So we're dealing with a whole range of issues at the Ghana Climate Innovation Center, even issues around public policy and influencing public policy, so that we have statutes and policies that are climate smart, right? So our work encompasses all of that. Storytelling for a green economy, policy advocacy for a green economy, and entrepreneurship training for a green economy.
GCIC seeks to drive inclusive interventions not only around the green economy, but especially concerning women's economic empowerment and financial inclusion. This is essential to building an economic powerhouse and a sustainable society in Ghana.
My inspiration for starting Kaeme, so I didn't really grow up with all the girly stuff like pink, makeup, nice hair, and not really. So, but I also found myself traveling quite a bit. So my mom would just give me the pink rubber shea butter and then the pink rubber black soap, and I'll literally take them with me. Over time, I started mixing them for friends and family, for myself as well, because I used it for so long that over time it became quite boring. So I started experimenting with it to see what else I could come up with. The climax was when I made some gift souvenirs for a friend's wedding, and it basically blew up. So that's when I started realizing that there's a real need in the industry for a product that will later become Kaeme. So that was sort of the inspiration. There was a huge demand for it, and I saw an opportunity to create a solution to a problem that existed in the industry.
Cumulatively, this number of businesses have generated a total of $3.4 million in revenues since 2017. Out of these, really, they have also been able to, raise early stage and growth stage financing of not less than or of almost $2 million. And the center has supported these enterprises with up to about $2.4 million in grants.
I think the biggest maybe difficulty or challenge for me was that I had the passion, but I really didn't have the business acumen to back it up. So you have people who go to business school to learn how to run a business or learn how to be a CEO or whatever it is. For me, I had the passion and I had the drive, but I didn't really have the academic background to manage a business per se. And for me, that was one of the biggest challenges for me.
GCIC challenges the mindset of its entrepreneurs, cultivating and strengthening their focus on sustainable commercial success, and also their contribution to long-term implications of the activity in Ghana, Africa, and the world.
There's so many things I wanted to do to support climate change and the environment. But I think in my line of work, if I can think of one thing, was to reduce waste. And when I talk about waste reduction, I'm talking about even the way we produce, right? Sometimes you produce the leftovers. What do you do with the leftovers? Between the mixing, the filling, the bits and pieces that are left over, like how do you really reduce waste? But I didn't necessarily know how, but that's something I sort of looked forward to GCIC really supporting me in finding ways to really tighten that process.
We are also happy to say that we are supporting the Ghanaian economy in the creation of jobs, which is critical because of the mass unemployment situation we have in Ghana, but also across the developing world generally. And through our enterprises, more than 1,300 jobs have been delivered to the Ghanaian youth since the incubator received its badge of enterprises in 2017.
For the year ahead, we take entrepreneurs in cohort by cohort. Between now and 2025, we would have incubated 240 entrepreneurs from across Ghana, from across all the 16 regions, and half of those entrepreneurs will be women. So we're very gender sensitive, and there's no regional bias. We will be incubating enterprises from 5 sectors: agriculture, domestic waste management, energy efficiency, solar power.
Which will create a better environment for business to contribute to climate action. And this can be done through different policy actions. For example, reviewing the incentive policies based on green outcomes. What is very important also for the private sector is to develop the green taxonomy, a green financial strategy for the sector, including for the financial sector.
We are engaging government to be able to explore the possibilities of seeing how fiscal policy can be leveraged to support green enterprises with some of the challenges that they face, because these are businesses that face consequential problems unique to them because of the kinds of businesses that they do. And the least government can do is leverage its power of fiscal policy through incentives to be able to create that environment that allows them to thrive.
Ghana Climate Innovation Center has provided support to transformative entrepreneurs who have innovative solutions and businesses that aid in the mitigation or adaptation of climate change.
From GCIC, there are a few things that I've received support. Of course, financials. We've been able to secure funding grants from GCIC to be able to procure machines that help us automate our current system. And some of these machines include like a mixing machine, for instance. We have labeling machines. We talk of filling machines. So you mix and then you have to fill the bottles and the jars, and then you have to label them. Before we're doing things manually, so we do our best to really calculate and see the inputs and the outputs and all of that. But with the automated system, it makes things easier, more efficient, and really everything the machines runs well. And when I'm talking about machine, I'm like the system in general, because if I know I'm putting A plus B, the result is going to be A and B. So it makes our system more efficient.
Innovation is at the core of what they do, and GCIC builds and supports local capacity among climate-smart SMEs to produce and manufacture locally adaptive, innovative solutions to climate change mitigation and adaptation.
GCIC has dedicated people who are specialists in this field, and they really sit with you one-on-one to really look at your business and really point out some of the ways that you can really be greener. And then out of that conversation, they essentially mentor you to really slowly, gradually change things for the better towards a greener business. For one, we do work with local raw material producers. So for instance, our shea butter and black soap are produced by locals, mostly women who are underrepresented. So that's one way to give back, because we buy from them at a rate that's fair. So they can also have a livelihood. In addition to that, we do as much as possible to hire within our community, because we believe that if an employee lives closer to here, that's less transport, and by default that reduces carbon footprint. We really choose our ingredients very carefully because we care about our employees and we care about our consumer as well, which I call our clients. So an example that I always use is that our candles are made with soy wax, which is plant-based, right? Even the fumes that it emits, it's not toxic compared to paraffin wax, which a lot of companies use, which is also widely used and much cheaper. It's very toxic for you and it's bad for the environment. So you come and buy a Kaeme candle, you're not only buying a candle that will make your room smell good or that will change the mood, but you're also really in a very small way contributing to protecting the environment.
GCIC are very important for Ghana, because they create the new leadership that will drive the country through this challenge. They create opportunity for new entrepreneurs through training or through access to finance. And they are enabling this transition to different systems that are more efficient.
So I would say that the year ahead for the Ghana Climate Innovation Center is very exciting. There is a lot of work to be done, and we look forward to working with all of the enterprises that will enter the incubator in the next and subsequent cohorts, and also to continue to support those in our alumni community to ensure that their work actually is, and the impact that they create is known and their success stories are told.
I see a very vibrant future for Kaeme. I see Kaeme as a homegrown luxury personal care company that's globally competitive, but also a business that's financially and environmentally sustainable, that's impacting livelihoods.
Inspiration from GCIC has contributed massively to the growth in the entrepreneurial sector.